Okay, here we go with Google Classroom. What you've all been waiting for. Google Classroom is a Google app that is only available for Google Apps for Education domains. So you must have an educational domain, otherwise you will not have access. If you don't have Google Classroom or that capability with your educational domain yet, you can always use Sites for a lot of these. Check out my video on Sites. But for now, we're going to look at Classroom. This is what you'll see when you first type in classroom.google.com. I don't see that anymore because I've already logged in once, but you'll need to create your first class. You might need to log in if you're not already logged in. But this is what my classroom looks like. I've created a sample class. In order to create classes, you can do that here. You can also join a class if you're doing a professional development or if you're in a class yourself. But you can create a class, and one way to do that is to type in a class name. You can do a section. If you teach multiple sections of the same subject, that might be helpful. For me, at the elementary level, I often did different sections so that I could differentiate my learning. So some students were in a specific section. I named them specific reading groups so that they would have their level text available and not be overwhelmed with what other students were doing. So I'll show you my demo class. The design and layout is supposed to be intuitive to students and maybe even teachers nowadays who have used social media items such as Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. So the stream in Classroom looks a lot like a feed in many of those media outlets. So first thing we're going to do is get to students, because without students, it's hard to have a classroom. So one way that they can join is you can give them the class code. You can reset the class code, but it's always going to be kind of funky like that. And if they go to classroom.google.com, they can enter their code as a student. You can also invite them. You can use your Google Groups if you have groups. You can use your contacts, or you can do it by hand if you'd like, but I find that the code is the easiest. Please make sure that you check out your student settings. Post and comment is really the most interactive. You can say that they can only comment or the teacher can only post and comment, but keep in mind it's supposed to be an interactive, very hands-on experience. So if you're worried about permission settings or what if they post something bad, please know that Classroom through Google has already thought of that, and it's a better teaching point now in Classroom while it's protected, instead of making that mistake in the real world and costing some serious issues, let's say. So a couple of things you can do in Classroom is you can create and upload assignments. You can select themes and upload photos up here, but that's more fun. I want to get you started with your class. So if I click the plus sign here, you can create a question, you can create an assignment or an announcement, or reuse a post, but we haven't posted anything yet, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to create a question for my students to answer. What is your favorite dessert? We do a lot with food with my students because it's relatable. I think it's safe to say everyone eats. So then you can choose, do you want it to be short answer, multiple choice? Do you want them to be able to reply to each other? Can they edit the answer? And you can also upload attachments or through Google or videos or links here. So we're going to ask it. And it's going to post right to my stream. And my students can add in their comments, and they can also answer the question. You can see who's done, who's not done, but clearly I have no students right now, so not until I have students will they be able to submit this assignment. So let's check out other assignments. I'm creating assignment, yes. I'm going to set the due date, yes. Add some resources. So I'm going to say complete this quiz. Oh, you know what? Let's do the organizer. One of the things that I loved to give to my second graders was a Google form that I turned into an organizer, and that's a different video, so feel free, if you're feeling pretty geeky, to check out my video on that. But I'll show you in my Drive, I have, let's see, opinion writing graphic organizer that I use through forms. Some people use forms for quizzes and surveys. I used it for my graphic organizer to get my kids typing. So what happens is it assigns it to the students, and once the students see it, they can click on it, complete the form, and I'll show you what the form looks like so that you can actually see it. They had to write an opinion piece. So They had to choose which pet was best, put in their name, title, introduction paragraph, reason, evidence, conclusion, and then once they did that, their responses went to my sheet. I could see all that. Anyway, this is all gone over in my other video. But you can assign that right in Google Classroom so they know they have to complete it. So Classroom's a great way to give out information and to, instead of passing out papers like we used to do with opinion writing organizers, we can actually just assign it and do this assignment in the computer lab. It promotes automaticity of typing, and please know they don't have to use Typing Tutor or any kind of typing format or learning software. Kids will automatically learn it. So it's pretty fascinating to just get in there and go. So another way that you can use the Google Drive through your Google Classroom. Say we're going to type your essay. We can change the due date. Maybe we want to upload a doc where they're actually going to type their essay. Where can I find a doc that I can use? Not in there. Let's find a sample doc. Here we go. And you can have them view the file. You can have them edit the file, but keep in mind it is one live document online and all of them will be editing it. Or you can also make a copy for each student. And I love this because it automatically makes it for them and then it goes into their drive and then you get the sharing permissions and then you can see that as well and give feedback. So we're going to assign it, and as soon as they open it, it's going to make a copy for them. And that's just some of the capabilities there. I encourage you to play around with the different announcements, posts, and things like that. And I just want to show you in my drive now, as a result of starting this class, in Google Classroom, it automatically starts up a new folder in Drive for you. So once I created this demo class here, Diaz 1, it automatically created a folder so that any work or any types of things are going to go into organized folders. So it's pretty neat. Enjoy.